He was returning from Vrindavan, where he had spent 10 days. And he was taken out of Vrindavan by Balabhadra Bhattacharya because it was too difficult to contain his ecstasy. So he came to Prayagraj, and there the two brothers, Rupa and Anupam Goswami, Rupa Goswami. He had been given the name Rupa Goswami some months earlier when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attempted to go to Vrindavan via Bengal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Bengal. He took sannyas. He took sannyas to spread the holy name all over the world. Tobe more deke she doribe charan e mote utharibo shakal bhuvan. When inquired by Nityananda Prabhu, why taking sannyas? No need to take sannyas. Harinam, it doesn't depend upon ashram. Harinam, Sankirtan, kiba bipra, kiba nashi shudra keni noi. Harinam, doesn't depend. Why take sannyas? Mahaprabhu answered, Tobe, more deke. But when they see me, all of the atheists and the smartas and the scholars in Navadip, in fact, Navadip are overwhelmed with the non-devotees. Navadip are not, in fact, Vishwarup, Mahaprabhu elder brother, and then Vishwarup Mahashaya. He is 12 years older than Goshunda, Vishwarup Mahashaya. He couldn't tolerate the social environment in Navadip. Dukkha baro pai Vishwarup Bhagavan na shune abhishta Krishna Chandra Akyan. Na shune abhishta Krishna Chandra Akyan. Not hearing his beloved Krishna Chandra glories. Dukkha baro pai Vishwarup Bhagavan. Dukkhe Vishwarup mone mone gone na dekhibo lok muk chole jai bone. Better not to see their faces. Chole jai bone. He went to the forest, took sannyas. So the situation in Mayapur, not everybody actually took advantage of Mahaprabhu's association when he was Grihastha. In fact, at one time, one Brahmin, he was so envious of Shivash Thakur. Anyway, we'll go into that. So Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Why? And he explained in it that Tobe more deki, because those people, when they see me, Doribe charan, they will clasp my feet. Ei mote utharibo shakal bhavan. And this way I deliver the entire world by taking some. Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So he had to leave Bengal. And then he where to go? He went to Shantipur. Nityananda Prabhu took him to Shantipur. He was in a state of ecstasy, Pramabesh. He didn't know what direction, day or night, wandering in Radha Desh. Nityananda Prabhu took him to Shantipur. Sachi Devi came, all the devotees were inquiring what to do, Mahaprabhu, taking a sannyas, where he will go. Tate e jukta balo hoy mo mone loy, nela chale rohe jodi, dui karja hoy. Sachi Devi, she said that in my opinion, Tate e jukta balo. I think this consideration is best. More mone loy, my opinion. Nilachale rohi jodi. If you stay in Nilachal, dui karja hoy. Then it's like Vrindavan. You want to go to Vrindavan, it's like Vrindavan, but it's close by Bengal. Tomrashal paro gamona gamon. You can all come and go. Another deep devotee. Every year they went to Puri. They walked. Took 1 month to walk. 1 month to walk back. And they stayed there 4 months. Chaturmasya. So every year, just to go to Puri and participate in Rath Yatra, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bengali devotees, they gave half their life. 6 months every year just to go to Puri. So then Mahaprabhu, after some time, he did South Indian tour. Bangalore, I don't think he quite came, Bangalore, but maybe somewhere nearby. Melkote. How far from Bangalore, Melkote?
150 kilometers.
Only?
Yeah. 2 hours.
So close. our Bharata Gopal Prabhu, Shashur, he, he's from Malkote. He told me we have to go sometime. As yet I haven't fulfilled that. He said he knows. Huh?
One day is
Yeah.
morning.
Malkote. He said to me yesterday, he said, oh, this priest, he's the priest of Lord Nrsingadev, Malkote. And he said, oh, I still haven't taken you there. So sometime I'll go with him, Malkote. So Mahaprabhu, he toured South India, he preached, sannyasi, he preached. What an ideal sannyasi, no? ISKCON sannyasis, that's for preaching. They go, but it's not like Mahaprabhu's sannyas. Mahaprabhu's, in the morning he gets up, he's walking, he doesn't know where he's going to take lunch. In the morning time he sleeps, sometimes under the tree, sometimes in the temple courtyard. South India, climate. He left for the tour, and that was when it was, actually it was winter time. It was winter time, but anyway, winter time. He left in the Vijay Dashami day, he left Puri, coming South India. And then he came back after 4 years, he returned to Bengal. Did you know that? Mahaprabhu returned to Bengal after sannyas? You knew that? You knew. Did you know that Mahaprabhu went back to Bengal one time after taking sannyas? Yeah, he did. Anyway, he did. And he wanted to go to Vrindavan via Bengal. That was his plan. Gauda deshe mordui shamasra janani jhanavi edui doyamor. In Bengal I have two shelters, Ma Ganga and Ma Sachi Devi. So I'll go to Bengal, I'll go to Vrindavan via Bengal, see the devotees from Bengal. He hadn't seen Sachi Devi 4 years. So he went to Bengal and then he met Rupa and Sanatana, Ramkeli. That used to be the capital of Bengal, Ramkeli. Gold, actually called Gold, the city of gold. One time I did a program there, Gaur Bangla University. Gaur, G-A-U-R, Gaur. And therefore it's called Gaudadesh. And we are Gaudiya Vaishnav. It's all because the name of the city was Gaur. And they were such highly posted government officials that they couldn't just publicly go and meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sannyasi. They went in the middle of the night and they met with Mahaprabhu and he delivered them, he inspired them. Aaj hoite tomar naam rup shanaton, danna chara tomar, danna fete mormon. From today you're called Rupa and Sanatan. He gave their names. And so they were so fired up. Rupa Goswami immediately, he just gave up everything. He just gave up everything. He sent his money in a boat, gave some to the family. They weren't married, they didn't have children, Rupa and Sanatan. But they had others, brothers, there was others back in Bangladesh, Joshua family. So he sent some money there. And he kept 10,000 coins to Sanatan. 10,000 coins, it's a lot of money. And Sanatan, he used that, he was put in jail by the Nawab Hussain Shah. You can Google him, he's a historical figure. Nawab Hussain, you can see the dates. He was the emperor, Sultan of Bengal during Mahaprabhu's. His father was previous Sultan. And he was there in his palace in Gaur, and Mahaprabhu came and he was discussing with Rupa Goswami, and he understood that he's God actually. He understood he's God, and he said, he declared, you let him be whatever he wants, no one should disturb him. But still, the Rupa and Sanatan and the Hindu ministers, they were in anxiety that maybe he would change his mind, because these people, at any moment, they can become influenced by the modes of nature. The meat eaters. So better you not stay here anymore. So Mahaprabhu, he moved on. And then Sanatana Goswami said, it's better not to go to Vrindavan with such a crowd. That's interesting. People sometimes ask, Sanatana Goswami, he was the disciple In fact, the first time they met, and yet he gave advice. But you got to consider why it's discussed not to go to Vrindavan with such a large crowd, because Mahaprabhu agreed that it's people will speak, that it's making a show. But you can consider, people ask me, how he could advise. He's just a young person. Mahaprabhu's God, how he could advise. But you could see part of it also was the political circumstances. Such a huge crowd. The Nawab was worried that it's like a riot, against the governor. They were worried. So he sent his spy and everything. Tell me about him. Give me a report. What does he eat? How does he sleep? What are his activities? And the spy went. He saw Mahaprabhu. The spy became filled with love of God. He came back. He's chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He's become converted to Bhagavad Bhakti. And he says, I've seen many mendicants, but he's not like a man. He's not like sannyasi. He's like a prince, who, having heard the Dibya Gyan from a sadhu, he renounced everything. He's so beautiful. His chest is like a lion. His long neck, his eyes, they stretch back to his ears like lotus petals. And his body, it's like soft like butter. And his teeth, they're like a row of pearls. And his reddish lips, like the pomegranate, color of the pomegranate juice. Reddish lips. Why he crashes onto the ground. He says, in every minute he crashes onto the ground 2 or 3 times. And he's telling the king. He's describing. Poshu paki jude, pashana bidore, shila. Lochandas Thakur, he sings, Poshu paki jude. The beasts and the birds cry. Poshu paki jude, pashana bidore. The stone melts. Shuni jada guna. Hearing about their qualities. Shuni jada guna. So the Nawab, he heard about Mahaprabhu's beauty and his characteristics and his behavior. He was inspired. He said, he understood he's God. He's followed by so many hundreds of thousands of people. He doesn't pay them any money. Just like preacher in Krishna consciousness, you're not paid. Prasad Prabhu, he's doing class, morning time, evening time, no one's paying him. Why is he doing that? So much work, you have to set up the whole thing. The preacher, no one's paying you. But we preach the motivation is not for career or for fame. Motivation is because Mahaprabhu orders, and the people, they need the preachers. People, they need the preachers. Prabhu said to inspire the preachers. The people, without the preachers, what hope do they have? Actually, I'm an personal example. I was not interested in spiritual life when I was in college. I had no interest in spiritual life. We were living in Australia. We had so much enjoyment facility. It's maybe 50 years ahead of Bangalore. Although Bangalore is the front runner of sense enjoyment in India. But the Western countries may be 50 years ahead. Sense enjoyment. That was 40 years ago. I was a student, but there was no. We were at the college, and I was studying arts degree, fine arts, and you had a tutor. Like a personalized, allocated tutor. And then you'd have to meet your tutor every few weeks, give a report of your projects. Where would you find your tutor? Not in the faculty office, you'd find him in the bar. Around the college there was bars, so many bars. What we call them pub. In England it's called a pub, P-U-B. And they're drinking, and it's drinking. And that's where you go and find that's where you go and meet the tutor. They're debauchees. They were debauchees, especially the course I was doing. They were the avant-garde, bohemian. They were all debauchees. And you ask the question, they answer. But when the young girls ask the question, very elaborate answer. And they didn't. The young girls, young boys, they didn't make. It's sort of like Even the priests, they have a boyfriend in the West. You know how that's going? You hear about this? The priests, they want to get married to his boyfriend. And he's a priest. This is the type of culture I came from. So spiritual life, forget it. I mean, there's no restriction, there's no shame in sin in Western culture. There's no shame in sin. Everybody's, yeah, it's fine, you do what you like. Well, how would be interested in spiritual life? It's like a heaven for the sensual joys. No shame, no public shame. Everyone's degraded. So how you could be interested in spiritual life? You have to be crazy. So how we became devotee? Because the devotees, they cared about me, that's all. And they took their time, they preached to me. They spent time with me, they cared about me. They even though we don't care about ourselves, the conditioned soul, they don't care about themselves. They're an illusion, a tamagun. Tamagun. Why do we have to avoid tamagun? Because you forget the consequences. That's the tamagun. Who cares? I want it now, give it to me. Oh, what about the consequences? Delete. That's tamagun. The ignorance. You don't care what's going to happen in the future. You don't care because the tamagun. They're affected by tamagun because they eat all dead animals' flesh. So their intelligence is like so dull. They don't care about it. They don't even think. I mean, I have friends, old friends and relatives, they're materialists. You can't even talk to them about spiritual life. They have no interest. You know, I have family, brothers and sisters, and they have a messenger. We have a little, on Facebook, messenger, and they send messages. I mean, what they discuss. It's just about the sports, the weather, that's it. And that's it. They're not interested. But the human life is meant for this. Atato Brahma Jigyasha. Tatra Jigyasha. What is that? That Kamasha Nendriya Prati Labho Jivata Yavata. Bhagavatam. First canto, second chapter, text number 11. Kamasha Nendriya Prati Labho Jivata Yavata. Sense enjoyment you can enjoy, but just the minimum. Jivata yavata, just when you're hungry you eat. When you're in sense enjoyment, when you're hungry you eat. That's it, that's your sense enjoyment. That's what we're allowed. Jiva shatata jigyasha, because life is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth. Na ata cheshta karma bi, you shouldn't work for any other things. Bhagavatam, that's first canto, second chapter, that's what Bhagavatam, Amala Purana, Amal Purana, because in the very beginning there's no mix. There's no flowery language about how you can get to the heavenly planets or how you can become a king. In the Vedas it's full of that. How you can become a king, a ruler of many countries, how you can go to heaven and all of this. The Bhagavatam in the very beginning it kicks out. Dharma projita kaitava atra parama. Dharma projita kaitava. Looks like Dharma, but it's just the same enjoyment in a polished, legal. Someone asked me the other day about the legal enjoyment. Yeah, that's the Vedas. you won't go to hell. The Vedas save you from going to hell, but you stay an enjoyer. Become a legal enjoyer, and the priests, everything, you all remove all your sins. You won't go to hell, but you stay in this world. Narad Muni chastised Vyas that it won't work. This gradual piety, karma, not vikarma. Vikarma, you're just animals. So you do karma. You want to enjoy. You have to do all the ritual. You have to do all the Vedic injunction for enjoyment. But Bhagavatam is not interested in that at all. Right in the very beginning, the relationship with the Supreme. Relationship with the Supreme. And just by hearing about Him, you can awaken. Just by hearing. That's the Bhagavatam, by hearing. Bhagavat Katha, Bhagavat Sravan. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, Koraya Udoy. Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami. Shravanadi, by hearing. Shuddha Chitte, heart becomes pure. Koraya Udoy. There's awakening of love for Krishna just by hearing. Sadhu Sangha Nam Kirtan Bhagavat Sravan. Maturava Srimriti Rashadaya Shevon Shakal Shadon Shrestha E Pachanga. Of all the items, these are the 5 most powerful. Krishna Prema Janmaya E Pacha Alpashanga, because immediately they bestow upon you love of Krishna. So that's it. There's no, we just treat preaching means cut to the chase. Don't worry, just somehow or other, whatever it takes, get them to activities which will awaken love of Krishna. That's it. In whatever way you can, get them to take prasadam, get them to hear, get them to chant. That's it. I mean, we were in that condition. We were completely covered by the modes of material nature. We were living in the most darkness. Everywhere there was no contact with anything transcendental. In the family, they're in ignorance, complete ignorance, illusion. And the friends, it's a material sense enjoyment. And the education, just bewildered illusion, topics of illusion. There was no contact anywhere. And then the devotees, they spoke to me about Krishna, at least I heard. I mean, actually, I would go to the restaurant, there was like food for life, like budget, as a student, a budget prasadam. And I'd go every day, and I'd take prasadam. And when I was sitting taking prasadam, the devotee would talk to me. And then what could I do? I couldn't escape. I was sitting there taking prasadam, halava with custard. Halava, Bengali halava, halava? Suji, cooked in ghee, and then date halava, banana halava, walnut halava. On the top, custard. Every day they had halava and custard. I'm sitting there, you get much as you want. Much as you go back again and again, fill up the bowl as much as you want. I'd be there for hours. I wouldn't go back to college in the afternoon. I'd just space out, intoxicated on the halva. And the devotees, they just talk to me, whatever they. In fact, one devotee, he was a pujari in the temple. Prabhupada installed the deities, Radha Ballabh. Bhuvanitai Prabhupada installed, Melbourne. One devotee was a pujari. He'd been in Vrindavan a few years doing puja in Radha Krishna Balaram temple. And he just talked to me about Vrindavan. I had no idea what he was talking about. And he told me about Vrindavan. But just by actually oral submission, that's service to Bhagavan. And then Sevan Mukhi Hi Jivado. Hi Jivado. You take prasadam, that's service to Bhagavan. Prasad Sheba Kodite Hoy Shakala Prapancha Jai. We just sang the song. Prasad Sheba Kodite Hoy Shakala Prapancha Jai. You can overcome the influence. So that's enough. So little by little you awaken. Once you awaken the love of God, everything, the material life, you awaken some interest. Then everything after that, everything changes for them. You could say their whole material life is spoiled. They can't. That awakening of Krishna consciousness is like a seed. Bhakti lota. Lota is the creeper. Bhakti lota. It grows. It just keeps growing. The more they associate, the more they hear. So somehow or other, you just have to give association. You have to get them to do these. Hear the holy name, chant the holy name. And then we were young, we were foot and fancy free, as they say. All the young kids, we were in college, we used to play the music, and then we'd go to the temple and we would dance in the kirtan. Why not? We were that type of person, we would dance, why not? And then the devotee, he would sing this tune, he would sing the evening tune. I still remember. I was at another place, not in Melbourne, another city. On an island called Tasmania. It's an island on the south of... And I went there. And there was a small preaching center there. One Prabhupada disciple, his wife, their daughter, and another Prabhupada disciple, Brahmachari. And he used to lead the kirtan every time, same tune. What was the tune? It was... Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Same tune every time. And he'd see the kirtan, and then he'd go and he'd ask you to sing as well. And then we'd sing. Why not? Hare, hands are raised. We'd sing and dance. It's very powerful. I see in the South India, the people, they don't dance in the temple. They don't dance. They just stand there. But actually, Mahaprabhu, he says to dance. The dance. He was ordered by Ishwar Puri to dance. Nache, gao, dance and sing. Bhakta Shange, in association of devotees. Koro Shankirtan. He was in initiation in Gaya. Ishwar Puri, you read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, chapter 7. Mahaprabhu's discussion with Ishwar Puri Prabhupada. Kiva mantra dilo Goshai. What mantra have you given? Kiva ta ball. What is its power? Jopidi mantra, korele pago. Oh, very good, my child. Very good. Bhalo, hoilo, toma prem, toma poilo, pranam purusharta. You've attained the highest goal of life. Toma premete, ame hoilan kritato. This gives me, I'm indebted, he said, kritato. You have attained the goal of life. Kiba mantra dila. What mantra is it? Kiba mantra. He answered, Ishwar, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Jaito Shabhav Jai Jope. Whoever chants Jai Jope Tare Krishna Upajai Bhav. Awaken love for Krishna. Upajai Bhav. Feelings for Krishna just by chanting Hare Krishna. And then he said, Nache, you should dance. Nache Gao, sing. Bhakti Shange in association of devotees. Koro Shankirtan. We were hearing Prasad Dishra Prabhu was saying. Usually in the marriage there's no chanting Hare Krishna, but Sri Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj, he was chanting Muhammad, he was chanting Kirtan, dancing. And so if you can get people in Mayapur, you come, the ladies also dance in Mayapur. You see the ladies, the youth, they dance. They dance. Sometimes Kirtan Mela, they're sitting down. Actually, that's a new thing. It's a new thing. Mahaprabhu, you don't hear described as sitting down with harmonium, chanting Hare Krishna and Chaitanya Charitamrita. You're not here described. In fact, all of the chanting, all of the Sankirtan is accompanied with dancing. Always. Mahaprabhu. But, if you sit in, Prabhupada would sit and chant Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna. Prabhupada sat in the park. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda, just sitting down. With the bongo drum, so we can sit and chant, no problem. But you see, even in Kirtan Mela, they're sitting, but still they'd stand up, all the girls, they're dancing. So that's you can dance in front of Panchatattva. It's very wonderful. Dance. You get people to dance. That's what you can get them to dance somehow or other. You have to trick them. It's like these kids, you have to trick them. You have to make it interesting for them. They have a bad experience of religion. They have a bad experience of being, I think you have caste consciousness here, and people are, the Brahmins and everything. There's purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada critically, he says South Indian Brahmins. He mentions. He says, and the prestige. And the people, now in the modern times, they don't like that. People, they have a different education. It's called egalitarianism. It's a Western, everyone's equal. But that's not true, actually. Everyone's not equal. It depends on your qualities and your activities. You're categorized. That's natural. But in the Western culture, they say, no, everyone's equal. Well, actually, they're all our lowest.
Yeah, I know.
They're all equally lowest. But so they don't like, but all the Western culture comes in now on your phone. What hope do you have? Try to keep the traditions and culture, no hope. It'll just get washed away like a flood, just washed away. This internet, there's just no hope. People, when they see what they do in America, why we can't do that? Prabhu was telling me the girls and the boys, they live together in Bangalore without being married now. So it's like a hole in the boat, like a crack in the boat. It's just a matter of time before it sinks. Because you can't stop the crack. It only takes a little crack, but you can't stop. Water will come in, fill up, the boat will sink. So the traditions, culture, they just get... people resent. They want to be like Westerners because then there's no shame in sin. So they'll go to the lowest, So only hope is the preaching of Krishna consciousness. The only hope. The holy name, so powerful. Most powerful preaching, the book distribution and the chanting, most powerful. I mean the prasadam, book distribution. Prabhupada said, Brihat Mridanga. So if you distribute the books, give people the book. The books are in the house. Books are in the house, even they don't read, they see the books. Books and holy name, the kirtan, the music, the hearing, and prasadam. It'll work. It works. It worked on us. It worked on us. It'll work. So somehow or other you have to make it interesting for people. You have to be one step ahead. So somehow or other get them to vibrate the holy name and to hear the holy name and to honor the prasadam. Somehow, whatever it takes. I mean, Prabhupada made restaurants. Gaudiya Math, restaurants, forget it. No concept of restaurants in Gaudiya Math. Even we were discussing the ladies. We don't have to research, but I don't think the ladies were given the Brahman initiation. Certainly they weren't worshipping in the temples. In Gaudiya Math, they weren't worshipping in the temples. And Prabhupada, he was very unconventional. Unconventional preaching. Restaurants and business. ISKCON had business. It was an incense business. And selling the books. And the ladies, do preaching. The ladies preaching. The ladies preaching, singing. Jamuna and serving the deities. He had the ladies cooking. He was sannyasi. He had the Jamuna. She was cooking, and they were cooking for the deities. In most of the temples in ISKCON, the ladies cook the bhoga. Even in India, most of the temples, so ladies cook. But Gaudiya Math, ladies cooking, no. Maybe some old widow here and there. But the householders, the ladies, with the kids, and they do roster, the temple. Prabhupada's so unconventional. Prabhupada's so innovative. We kind of don't understand. But compared to Gaudiya Math, Prabhupada, but that's what Prabhupada could see, that you have to adapt. And so preaching, you have to adapt to Bangalore. I mean, there are many things. Like for example, you preach somehow or other. There's kirtan, there's bhajan clubs and things, and whatever. But if it means, you don't wear devotional clothing and you don't wear the tilak and you make it look more modern and things like that, they may be a little resentful to anything traditional. They don't have the piety. They want modern things, so you make it modern. But you have to get them to chant the holy name, to honor prasadam, to hear. It's medicine. It works on everybody. And it's oshad. Maya nashi bado lage harinama mahamantra lao tumi mage. Mahaprabhu became a sannyasi for preaching. Whatever it takes. Even the intimate associates were opposing. Nityananda Prabhu, they went to Puri. They were accompanied to 4 devotees, Mukunda Datta, Acharya Ratna, Damana Pandit, Nityananda Prabhu. They accompanied Mahaprabhu to Puri. Jagadananda Pandit, he was carrying danda. And then he went for begging, and he gave danda to Nityananda. As soon as he got it, he broke it, threw it away. They weren't supportive of Mahaprabhu. It was painful for them. Why Mahaprabhu took sannyas? Why? Because for preaching. Because the people, they'll see you sannyasi. And to propagate the holy name. Mahaprabhu's sannyas means propagating the holy name. So we were discussing, I started with Prayag. Mahaprabhu came out of Vrindavan, or finished with that, came out of Vrindavan, came to Prayag. Rupa Goswami left immediately after they met in Ramkelli. He left immediately. Sanatana Goswami took a little more time, and he was put in jail. Rupa Goswami left with another brother, Anupam, another brother, and they went to. They were thinking Mahaprabhu was in Vrindavan. After they met in Ramkelli, Mahaprabhu who returned to Puri. They knew that. So then they sent 2 Brahmins to Puri from Bengal to find out when Mahaprabhu will go to Vrindavan. And the Brahmins, they found Mahaprabhu already gone through Jarikan forest, already gone. Oh. So hearing that, Rupa Goswami immediately he left to go to Vrindavan. But Mahaprabhu didn't stay in Vrindavan. We can consider that probably they were thinking that Mahaprabhu would go to Vrindavan and stay there, and that they would also go. That was kind of, you can assume like that. They were thinking that. But Mahaprabhu, he stayed in Puri, but he sent Rupa and Sanatan to stay in Vrindavan. After Prayag, he went to Vrindavan. Didn't come back. He stayed in Vrindavan. Sometimes they went to Puri. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami's descriptions. Anta Lila. They visit Puri. They stayed with Haridas Thakur and Siddha Bakula. So then the Rupa and Anupam, they arrived in Prayag, and just at that time, Mahaprabhu, he was going to Bindu Madhav temple in Prayag. Who's been Prayag? Yeah, Prabhupada was initiated there. Prabhupada lived there 12 years. Prayag pharmacy, Tirthastan. Already it was Tirthastan, Triveni, Sangam, and then Mahaprabhu performed Leela there. Prabhupada Leela there initiated. Abhay Charan Arabinda Das, first and second initiation. So the Mahaprabhu is going to Bindu Madhav temple. And there were people that come, hundreds of thousands. Kaviraj Goswami, he's describing Keo Kande, Keo Hashe, Keo Anache Gai, Krishna Krishna Bali, Keo Paragadi Jai. Some were crying, some were laughing, Keo Nache Gao, some were dancing and singing Krishna Krishna Bali, chanting the name of Krishna. Keo Paragadi. Some were rolling on the ground. Some were rolling on the ground. Mahaprabhu, that's his preaching, just by seeing him. He wasn't organizing. We have to organize preaching. You have to give the poster on social media this time, log in, this Zoom, log in. You have to advertise. Or here at our temple, so many advertising, so many programs advertise. Janmastami, I went to Prabhu's preaching center today. The poster, Janmastami, you have to make in advance, few months. People have to see the date, they come. And then you have to organize everything, you have to prasadam. We have a cook, is that a cook? Sham? You have to cook, you have to organize, you have to get the boga days in advance. You have to add it all up, how much prasadam, how much cooking, how many items, advertise, have to whatever, people coming, cultural program. Cultural, the girls, the kids, the dancing, all has to be organized. Everything organized. You do Janmashtami. Yeah, wonderful. There's so much effort, the preaching, but that's the labor of love. For Mahaprabhu, no organized preaching. Just chanting. And not even with big kirtan party, loudspeakers. Just he's chanting. Prema Beshe Nache Prabhu Hari Doni Kori Udva Bahu Kore Bole Bolo Hari Hari. He's describing. Kaviraj Goswami, Prema Beshe, overwhelmed in Prema Beshe. Prema Nache, he's dancing. He's chanting himself, he's dancing. There's no kirtaniya, no instruments, no mridanga, no kartals. He's just chanting and dancing. This is Mahaprabhu. Prema Beshe, not that we'll do the kirtan 10 minutes, everyone dance. So no, he's constantly, he can't stop. Prema Besh, overwhelmed with prema, he's dancing with his arm. Prema Beshe Nache Prabhu, Hari Dhani. Calling a holy name, Udva Bahu Kori, raising his hands, Udva Bahu Kori. Bolo Hari Hari. He's saying Bolo Hari Hari, Bolo Hari Hari. That's his preaching. Bolo Hari Hari, Bolo Hari Hari. And people, they're just going crazy. They're rolling on the ground, they're crying, they're laughing, they're dancing. That's how Mahaprabhu preached. That's why he needed Rupa and Sanatan Goswami to write the books. He couldn't write the books, he was too overwhelmed. He couldn't write the books. Even in Navadip, he didn't write books. He didn't. Shikane Shab Nadi Fichin Neche Gonitai. Fichin Neche dancing. Fichin wandering dancing in Shab Shadia. Shab Nadia. Fichin Neche. All over Navadip. Fichin Neche dancing, wandering. Radha Krishna Bol Balade Shabai Shikane Shab Nadi Fichin Neche Gonitai. Radha Krishna Bol Balade. So he needed Rupa and Sanatan. There were such scholars, actually from Karnataka. That's here, yes?
They're born in Hampi.
Not born there, no, they're born in Bengal.
Their ancestors from
Yeah, they're born in their ancestors.
Correct, yeah.
They're born in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
And so there were such scholars. When you look at Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, everything, the chapters, the four divisions. And Purva Vibhag, Pashchim Vibhag, Uttar Vibhag, Dokhin Vibhag, 4 divisions, all different aspects of love of God. And within the Vibhags, it's like ocean. He says an ocean. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And then within the ocean, there's different waves, and you can see all the chapters, all the divided, and then subsections. I mean, like, this is analyzing, organizing, flowchart. So they were expert. And Nana Shastra Vicharanayaka Nipun. They could quote from all of the Shastras. You look in the index of verses quoted, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you look at the books. They knew all the books. They were and not like on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It was in their head. They'd studied all the books. They were such scholars of Nana Shastra Vicharanayaka Nipun. They were expert. And that was even before they met Mahaprabhu. And therefore immediately he ordered them that H.I. Goshai Jave Braja Koila Bash Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. You have to reveal. In Vrindavan, they sat writing the books, established the holy places, identified, developed the holy places. Mahaprabhu couldn't stay in Vrindavan, but he wanted Vrindavan developed. So they were empowered. So anyway, I started with that they were there, and then they met Anupam and Rupa. They came and met Mahaprabhu. Mahavaranaya, Namo Mahavaranaya, Krishna Prem Pradaya, Krishna Chaitanya, Namane, Gauda Dvishena Maharupa Goswami. He composed on the spot. Sanskrit glorification. Composed on the spot. He goes to the house, Mahaprabhu. They said Deccan, Dokhin, South Indian Brahmin. It's described as Deccan Brahmin. It's English of saying Dokhin. Dokhin, you know Dokhin? Dokhin? Yeah, he said Dakshin. Dokhin Bharat. So he was at Mahaprabhu staying at his house. And Anupam and Rupa Goswami, they came. And he quoted, he composed Sanskrit. He can compose on the spot, Sanskrit verse. Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prabhupada. And then one Brahmin came, Balaba Bhatta Charja. Balaba Bhatta. Vallabha Bhatta. There's one Sampradaya, it's called the Pushti Marg. Srinathji. Prabhupada said they're prominent in Vrindavan and Bombay. I don't know, maybe here. Srinathji. Yeah. So Vallabha Sampradaya. So he, at that time, he was associated with Mahaprabhu actually. And then when he came, Mahaprabhu said, oh, don't go near these two. They're rejects. They were Brahmins, but they'd taken a job. Can you imagine how high the standard was? They were Brahmins, but they'd taken a job. And therefore, they didn't even enter Jagannath Puri temple. Haridash Thakur, Arup Sanatan, Jagannath Mandir, they tin John na Jan. Haridash Thakur, Rup Sanatan, they never went inside Jagannath temple because they considered themselves outcasts from the Brahminical society. That's how strict it was. Nowadays, can you imagine the Brahmin? He takes a job. They're so they're still, they want all the prestige. Even they have a job, yeah, a job. They have that. They all have businesses and things. They don't just subsist on dokina, on donations. No, they have businesses and things. And they send their sons to.
Leather business.
Oh. They send their sons to the Western countries with a job, to get. They don't. It's all lost. The Brahmin culture, but still they're attached to the prestige. So Mahaprabhu, he said, don't go near these. They're rejects. If you touch them, you'll be contaminated. And Rupa and Anupam, actually, they out of humility, they went away. They were at a distant place, and they're falling on the ground. They're chanting the holy name. And but Vallabhacharya, he was learned scholar of the Bhagavatam, so he quoted, "Aho Mahabhaga." No, that is that. Aho bhatta swapacha to gari yanga jiva grevata de namatubhyam. He quotes from third canto of the Bhagavatam, Devahuti. Devahuti, the mother of Kapil Dev, Devahuti. So, in fact, Devahuti is the sister of Priyabrata. And they're going to do Priyabrata, where the chapter on Priyabrata is the temple, in the Devahuti. Akuti, Prashuti, Priyabrata, Uttanapat. 5 children of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. So Devahuti. And she had a child, her husband Kardama Muni, and her child is Kapil Dev incarnation. So she's glorifying your name. Aho bhatta swapacho togariyang jivagarivate nama tubhyam. Nama, your name. How glorious is that? Even the aho means how glorious. Aho. The aho bhatta swapacha, dog eaters. Swapacha, how they become exalted. Togariyang. Ya jiva agre varjate nama tubhyam. If they take your name on their lips, how they become exalted. Tepos tapas te juhu bhushashnu brahmanachu namagrinanti yete. Just by accepting the name, they performed all of the austerities. Juhu bhushashnu, traveled to all the holy places, taken their bath, performed all the rituals. Brahmanachu, studied all the Vedas. Namagrinanti, that's all automatically achieved by chanting the holy name. So Balabhacharya, he quoted this verse. They're Rupa and Anubhav, they're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. And Balabhacharya, he quoted this verse. This is how the Vaishnava Sangha, you social interaction amongst Vaishnavas, you discuss Shastra. Social interaction amongst Vaishnavas, you discuss Shastra. Just like they're discussing the Brahman, Mahaprabhu, Rupa and Sanatan, they're discussing Shastra. He's quoting from the Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu appreciated. Mahaprabhu quotes a verse. Name Bhakta Chaturvedi, Mad Bhakta Swapachapriyaha, from the Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya. Name Bhakta Chaturvedi, even if one is Chaturvedi. Name Bhakta, if he's not my devotee, Mad Bhakta Swapachapriyaha. The devotee who's from the family of meat eaters, he's more dear to me than the Chaturvedi who's not my devotee. Mahaprabhu quotes the verse. Tasmai dhyayam tatograyam sacha puja jatahi aham. Whatever he offers, you should accept. You should give everything to him. He is as worshipable as I am. That's the dog eater, the family of meat eaters who's become a devotee. And then he quoted another verse, Bhagavad Bhakti Hina Sha Jati Jatish Japas Tapaha. If you're not a devotee, then all of your prayer, all of your birth, all of your study, all of your austerity, Apranaya Shadaya Sha Mandalam Lokaran, just like flowers on a dead body. They take the body for cremation, they decorate with flowers. Oh, it looks so beautiful. What is that beauty? Flowers on a dead body. So I was saying that all of this phantasmagoria of this development in this city, it's flowers on a dead body. So preaching means that you have to become a little strong, so that you're not affected, because the materialist, there's so many display of enjoyment, material enjoyment. It's attractive. Become allured, easily available. So you have to become a little strong. How do you become strong? By sadhana. How do you become strong? By sadhana. Sadhana means personal effort. And the fundamental sadhana is hearing the holy name in the japa time. That's the fundamental sadhana. You have to chant and you have to hear the philosophy. And here you read Prabhupada's books, that's why he wrote the books, that's why he didn't just initiate disciples, he also wrote books. So that we have to hear his book. They're the foundational learning. You have to study the books, you have to hear the books. Even Guru Maharaj Srila Nitai Kripa Srimati Srila Jai Potaka Shami Sarvabhauma Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Sarvabhauma. He studied all the books because he wanted to encourage the disciples. He personally took all exams. He had the title Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Why? He didn't need to do that already. He delivered Bengal. He saved Bengal. Prabhupada came Mayapur, Calcutta, a couple other places. The Bengal was left. He delivered Bengal. He delivered Bengal. What an achievement. Mahaprabhu's Mayapur, Mahaprabhu's Gaudadaya is that Nitaiku Damudaya Nama Charjapa Nitaiku Pradan Gaud Kota Damudaya. He doesn't need to study the books and take exams. Oh, he's done so much already. He's done so much. He doesn't need to study the books and take exams. Why he did that? Because he's showing how important it is. Because you study the books, you become conversant in the philosophy, you can become a good preacher. You can become a good preacher, you can preach powerfully. Amaraga Guru Hao Jari Deka Tarika Krishna Upadesh. What can you speak? Yeah? And what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, that's what you speak. That's what you speak. You have to learn the philosophy. And then when you speak, it will be powerful. You don't have to make up something new, you just have to repeat what's in the books. Know the philosophy, know the books, know the verses. That's it. Your preaching has potency. And do the sadhana, practice. Apni nar koile shikano na jai. Eito shidanta gita bhagavad gai. Apni nar koile, if you're not doing yourself, shikano na jai. No one will be affected. You have to do yourself. You have to chant. You have to chant with attention every day. I asked Shamsundar, I said, I hope you don't have to, I don't know you spend hours and chant like that every day. How will you make progress? When you're driving the car, how can you chant? How can you possibly be hearing? If you're driving the car, you're driving the car, it takes your attention. What sort of chanting is that? It's better than not. But it can be a lot more powerful if you don't do anything else when you're chanting. That's what it means. Bhajanti ananda manasa. Nothing else in the mind. Bhajanti ananda manasa. Ananda manasa. Ananda, nothing else apart from hearing the name. That takes attention. And you've got to be allocated, you've got to have quality time just for chanting. Not that you just fit it in here and there in the day, get the rounds done. Change your lifestyle. What's the point? Change your lifestyle. Make the priority chanting. Nama Shaya Kodi Jatana Tumi Takara Apana Kaj. Thakur Bhakti Nama Shaya Kodi Jat. Your main business is to learn how to chant properly. Chanting the japa. Chant the japa. Make a lifestyle where you can give attention to japa every day. And then preaching easy, just by being with you. You don't even have to, just by being with you, people will be affected. Because you have change in heart. They'll become attracted to Krishna just by being with you.
Any questions? Because they're all kind of preaching. So.
Yeah. I'm purified by their Sangha.
Any questions? What we are doing in these right?
How to motivate children class? Children are coming, but parents are not keen on coming for the classes, other classes. How to motivate them? Because
Well, the children or the parents, you mean?
parents.
Well,
Children are they are ready to send the children. They want the children to learn, but parents are not keen on coming.
The
They
children
also
today, they weren't chanting Hare Krishna. Why they weren't chanting? I was chanting Hare Krishna. None of them, they were all there with their mouths
They
closed.
were all seeing you only.
All right. Well, I saw, is from what I understood, what I heard from devotees in Damodar Desh. You were there, Damodar Desh. Yeah. That they started with there's Sri Bala Prabhu's father, Mani. He started with the children program, kids program in the Sri Bala in the Balabhacharya temple, Srinathji temple. He started with the children program. He started with that, and then I mean, if you can make the children, if you can make them Krishna conscious, then it'll affect the parents. I mean, I don't know, I don't know much about children education and everything, but I mean, I saw a couple of kids wearing tilak. Well, that was pretty encouraging. I mean, if
That
they,
we put them actually.
Huh?
When they come to the class, I put tilak.
yeah, okay, well, that's great. But if you can somehow or other, I mean, it's indoctrination with kids. Yeah, indoctrinate. They're like a clean slate. You indoctrinate them in the values of Krishna consciousness, cleanliness, basic things. I don't know people in Bangalore, Hindus, about cleanliness. I don't think that they just probably cook and eat. They don't have an idea of the separate, But somehow you try and teach them some values like cleanliness, like when you eat, you wash your hands, something like that. And if they can learn that, their parents will be shocked. Their parents will be ashamed. And like that, I mean, bowing down and things like that. And there's some basic values. If you can indoctrinate, I mean, their kids do anything. We learn, at school, you learn all of the whatever, the mantra, pranam mantra. They were chanting tonight, Bhagavad Gita. Was that 11th chapter? No, was it? What was it? That was, I heard you chanting, that was 15th chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so they learned some verses, that's great.
They like all those things. They want kids to learn.
Well, that's great. So keep doing it because it has an effect on them, certainly.
Because they're attending so many classes, so this is also one part of one class like that.
Well, what to do? You can only do. You can't necessarily take over the whole life, but Krishna consciousness, even a small. Swalpam apiya shidama shatrayate mahadova. Even a little can have a very big effect. So be encouraged to keep doing it. I mean, and then what to do. There's so many. Somehow or other, it's an uphill battle, especially in a place like this. There's so much more passion in this city. There's such more passion. So people are just like racing. When you can make money, then people go crazy. They go. If the money is there, then people just become bewildered. If it's easy, where it's tough, then people okay, what's the point in trying? But when you can make money, people, but they become crazy. Like missed opportunity. Let me get it while I can. It's like so much more passion. Even though they don't need, but I can make it. If you can, it's very bewildering. If I can make money, if I make money, it just bewilders people so much. If you can make money, it just becomes the whole goal in life. Never ends, never satisfied. Just become so bewildered by it. But I mean, everywhere in India like that. India economy growing and everything, people are just they've been so bewildered. Make money. I mean, like Prabhupada, he was so unbewildered. He was a pauper in Delhi in 1956-57. Prabhupada, he couldn't even purchase cloth. He was in Delhi. He was going and meeting people. He had to ask the sannyasi in temple, can you buy some? Can I get some cloth? He had no money, nothing. When he went to Gorakhpur to meet Hanuman Prasad Poda of what's the name of that? It's I think it's a Gita Press. So Prabhupada spent all of his money on the train ticket to get there. He had about 150 rupees. He spent 125 rupees to get there, and that was it. And then, fortunately, this Hanuman Prasad Poda, he was so impressed with Prabhupada's manuscript, he gave 4,000 rupees to print the first canto. But Prabhupada was like rock bottom. He experienced rock bottom, no money. He came from that and then he went to the West, and by the time he's writing, you read the first canto, Prabhupada's got no money. He had to struggle to get the 3 volumes in the first canto. Each one he had to struggle to get published. In Vrindavan, 5 rupees a month, Radha Damodar Temple. 5 rupees a month. Sannyasi, completely absorbed in publishing books, Bhagavatam. No money. And you read those purports. And then you read second canto. Second canto, Prabhupada wrote 1970. Already he was a world-renowned figure by 1970. Now, the devotees they'd preached in London, and they had met George Harrison, the Beatles. And they made a record. It was playing in all the radios all over the world. Prabhupada was already by 1968. He had success in the West, San Francisco, and then Montreal, and then Los Angeles, and properties, and then UK, London, and then Europe. So by 71, 72, Prabhupada had centers all over the world. He had wealth, he had immeasurable wealth, already assets in the name of ISKCON. Properties in all the Paris, Germany, Paris, and what's the other one? Munich, Hamburg, London, Edinburgh, all over US, San Francisco, Los Angeles. He had properties, he had vehicles, he had men, he had disciples. And you read the purports, it's completely unaffected. Completely unaffected. It's completely unaffected by all of that wealth. But most people, they become bewildered by wealth. And they just become crazy. So that's the thing in India now. Well, if people are making money, it's India, the economy is there's a lot of prosperity. So that's tough. People, they become arrogant. They become bewildered. Money gives you power. It's called Aishwarya. Aishwarya, Isha. It's control. You have money, you can control the material energy. I like God. So only hope is the holy name. Only hope, holy name. Only the holy name can penetrate. I mean, look what it did for us. We were so degraded, foreign people. Changed you completely. Become madmen about Krishna consciousness. Completely changed. Lifestyle, completely changed. We were nothing about sitting on the floor, cross-legged, eating, washing hands, tila, mantra. At least in India, people, they are already familiar. We had nothing. We're not zero, minus 250 in terms of Vedic culture. Everything completely changed. Lifestyle, completely changed. Different person. How possible? Mahamantra. A great mantra for deliverance. So powerful. So you have to keep chanting. So it will fulfill all desires. You want to become a preacher, you want to become empowered, you chant Hare Krishna. Whatever you want, you can get. Chanting Hare Krishna, so powerful. Kali Juga, Shuno Mr. Kali Juga, Nahi Tapa Jagya Jai Jan, Bhaje Krishna, Shay Mahabhaga. You can't do tapa, you can't do yagya, it doesn't work. Shay Jan, Bhaje Krishna. You chant Krishna's name. Shay Mahabhaga, you get everything. You got to preach to the people like this. You got to know the conclusions and you got to preach to people.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Krishna Bhakti Labho.
And so as part of preaching, we are going to start a Bhakti Riksha model in the center, preaching center. We want to divide devotees into two or three groups, and we want to start that preaching in that model. So in the center, not in the house, it would be like Bhakti Riksha model, like ice breaking, whatever Guru Maharaj has given. that model we want to take. So just wanted to know whether it will be right, whether it will yield some results, right, doing that in the center.
I think so. Give it a try. I think so. Nothing wrong with that. Sounds great.
Hare Krishna, Pranam. Prabhuji, so when we have too many services, right? So what happens is we are totally occupied on the services. Somehow, what I'm saying is, day by day, it's somehow becoming mechanical. That kind of, that spontaneous love, or the love before I used to have, okay, I have to do this. So the time I used to equip my mind, or probably read or do something. So that kind of thing, that connection is somehow I'm unable to establish. So one thing, so any suggestions or anything?
Well, in the beginning, because things are new, they interest the mind because they're new. So you're kind of learning, you're getting proficient and everything. But once it becomes automatic mode and it's not new anymore, then so in a way you were interested in the novelty. And also there's like, you want to achieve, you want to be successful. But once you become reasonably competent in things, then you have to find some other motivation, right? So then you have to go deeper. You have to go deeper. You have to chant nicely. You have to chant. You have to get a taste from chanting. You have to get a taste from chanting. You have to get a taste from chanting. Bishacharya Shay Roshe Majia Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudra Nishchoy Kori. You have to go deep into the chanting. Shay Roshe Majia. You have to enter into the sound with absorption, with attention, and then you'll get nectar. You'll get the Shay Rosh. And that Rosh, that will give you a higher taste. The taste of hearing the holy name is Nam bina kichu nahiko aro choda bhupana maje. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that Nam bina, apart from the name, Nam bina kichu nahiko, then nothing compares to its pleasure, to its greatness. Choda bhupana maje, within the 14 worlds. He's convinced about that. So you have to have the faith that everything is in the chanting. Everything is in the chanting. I mean, that initiation is the main thing. You chant 16 rounds minimum. Everything else, okay, secondary to that. You have to chant properly. You have to chant nicely. That will cure all the problems of inspiration and enthusiasm. It's medicine. It's not easy. You have to practice. It's medicine. It's in the beginning. It's bitter. Even you begin chanting. The mind wants to. You grab the phone. What's happening? The messages come in. What's news today? Then the mind doesn't want to be controlled. The mind doesn't want to remain chanchala himana Krsna. It doesn't want to just have one thing. It wants to be in control and whatever I demand. It doesn't want you to bring it under control. It will. The mind will resent. Yeah, so you have to learn to deal with that. You have to bring the mind under control by chanting and hearing, using the japamala, focusing the mind, and chanting with absorption and attention. That's the medicine. It cures all the problems.
Prabhuji, how to develop taste for reading? In my case,
Start reading.
somehow to make time for reading. As you said, the reading Prabhupada books, then your philosophically you become strong and free also. So how to develop that for reading also? Because I keep hearing like cooking and all. But
Well, that's good. That's actually, if you keep hearing when you're cooking and other activities, that's actually sufficient.
That is like not attentive hearing, no? Like your cooking has.
No, where you listen to the same thing again and again. I hear all the time. I'm listening. I do all the time when I'm doing. Unless I've got the thing on. I've got a little speaker, and all the Prabhupada's lectures and other things and whatever's the topic. You know, now we're listening to Bhagavatam 5th canto. I listen to it. You can listen to the books. There's an act called Transcendence. You can read it. It reads the books, audio books, in different languages. So I listen to the one chapter again and again and again. I listen to it, I replay again and again. Every time I hear it, I pick up something else. That way is a good way to listen. You repeat, you listen to the thing many times. Same lecture or same chapter. Listen to it again and again. And that's pretty good. That's good. Even though you may be like that. And when you're driving, you should listen. Don't chant. You should drive. You should listen. Have the thing on. We used to call them cassette player, but now I don't want to reveal to you how I'm such a dinosaur. Cassette player.
In Bangalore, it is little difficult.
What?
In Bangalore, it is difficult.
To what?
While driving, because you have to have eyes all over the
Yeah,
place.
no, that's okay. You can listen to the lecture. You can turn off and turn on, no problem. The lecture goes, and you keep listening to the same lecture again and again for 4 or 5 times, and go to the next one. That's all right. I mean, it's not to chant japa when you're driving. That's. I mean, and sometimes you have to. Better than no chanting. Better than not completing the round. But don't get into the habit of it. Because the chanting, your eyes closed, you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. You hear every syllable, you pronounce every syllable clearly, and with your fingers you feel the bead. That's the process. It's called japa. It absorbs the mind. It fulfills the mind. It feels the mind. That's the medicine. You have to do that. You can't do anything else when you're doing japa. But other thing, when you're doing, you can do other things and you can be hearing in the background. That's okay, because sometimes you can be attentive, other times you can, and then you come back to it, no problem.
So usually the clearly does it come like probably about 8 rounds the name properly comes like Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Usually what are Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, it becomes Krishna or Krsna, something like that. And beyond 8 rounds. So usually what I do is I take a break in between, so about 10-15 minutes, and listen some lecture.
After
probably
8
sing
rounds?
some song. Yeah, after 8 rounds.
That's good.
And then come back. So it's
That's fine.
okay.
Fine.
Right.
Nam akari bahuda nija shavra shakti tutrapita niyamata smarane na kalaha. There's no rules at any time, either after reading, before reading, in between reading. Oh, no problem. Before taking bath, after taking bath, na kalaha. No time restriction on Mahamantra chanting. Any time.
After completing 16 rounds, mind says, even though time is there, next 17th round, evening time, we are having sufficient time now. When you start, say, 16 rounds you have completed, mind says like that. Why? Then it is leisurely, it won't allow us now.
Well, if you do 16 rounds, that's glorious.
That 16 rounds, it's only the bar it is.
Well, that's all right. Keep doing 16 rounds.
Prabhu gets up to 3:34 to 6, he finishes 16 rounds.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, that's great. You're working.
No,
No, retired.
So then prepare for going to the spiritual world. Retirement means prepare for going to the spiritual world. Now time to prepare. Finish up everything. Keep the mind in Krishna consciousness all the time.
He's doing Bhakti Shastri now.
I'm doing Bhakti Shastri now. Good. Yeah, so study the books. Absorb the mind. Now's the time. I mean, you come to the final stretch. I'm also retired. I'm also getting old, not come to the fag end of life, Prabhupada calls. Fag end of life. So you have to prepare for full absorption. Where you can chant 64 rounds.
That's what Prabhuji is saying. Like mind is set like 16 rounds. Beyond that, that mind will
Beyond
not.
that, let's say, mind will say, Why? You have completed 16 rounds. Take leisurely to do it.
Well, that's all right. Like I
You will
say,
come now.
not a big deal if you complete 16 rounds. That's glorious. If after that the mind says enough, now I'm in charge. Well, still it's good. You did the 16 rounds, and do something
At
else.
that time, how to?
Then do something else which interests the mind. Do something else.
Okay, just you like reading means you can watch.
Do something else, or write some essays, or make some video.
Even reading also. No.
Get
If
into
we
something.
complete Chaitanya Charitamrita, again second time if you want to go, you have completed. Why you have like that mind?
Make it interesting. You have to make it interesting. You have to make something new. Make it interesting for yourself.
Maybe start preaching.
Yeah, preaching.
That's a good way of engaging us.
And then make some preaching. You can prepare some like we used to say speech. In ISKCON we say giving class. So you prepare. You learn some slokas, and you prepare. You give a lecture. You do it on YouTube. Post it. Doesn't matter if you don't have any followers, hundreds and hundreds. Still, someone will hear. But it's good for you. Make a lecture.
To engage the mind.
You have to make it interesting. You have to make Krishna consciousness interesting.
How to hear that sound vibration with full concentration while chanting? Yeah.
Well, so many things you have to do. Try and do it when there's earlier in the morning, the better. Get enough sleep so that you're not tired. It's hard to, if you're tired, how can you? It takes effort. In fact, chanting japa takes more effort than deity worship. Because the deity worship, once you get the routine down, the mind can be miles away and you can still do it. So, the deity worship can be done after the chanting. Because the chanting takes more mental concentration. It's more exhausting. And even if you need to take a rest sometime, that's okay. Because if you're tired, then what's the point? You can take half an hour rest in the morning if required, and then get back into it. That's also okay. Get to learn, get to know your own. What do they call these things? Like the way your body functions, and try to work with that in a way. I mean, the evening time, Sandhya, that's ideal. That's a good time for spiritual practice. And dusk, it's a good time. You can chant then. And of course, in the morning is the best time. So before eating, after eating, it's difficult to chant. Before eating. These are all tips. And use the beads properly. Use the beads. They're not just for counting, they're for feeling. The beads, they're not just to keep count, they're actually why we use tulasi. You're meant to feel the bead. You're meant to concentrate on the bead. Feel the bead. Use the beads, feel the bead. You can sit properly. Prabhupada said, and he said, sit properly. I mean, if you're going to like this and chant, that's going to be a lot different to sitting with your back straight. And sit properly, before meals at the right time of day. Develop a habit, wear tilak. If you have a picture, sit in the same place. You have a what's called bhajan kutir, a place where you can sit, where you don't get disturbed. Achimam cup. Create an environment, create a nice little place. Have pictures there.
Is it important that you said first chanting and then deity seva?
I said that you can. It's at home. You can make the program which according to your convenience. Jananivas Prabhu. We had Shalagram. We're in Mayapur. We had apartment there. We're setting up. I asked him about worship at home. he said, at home you make your own standard, but you keep your own, whatever the standard you make, you stick to it. So you can do any order of activities, you can chant. I do the deity worship Shalagram in Mayapur, I do at 10 o'clock. I don't do it early in the morning. I do it at 10 a.m. After I've finished my rounds, after I've done Yogasan, after I've done usually some reading Brahminical work as well. Because I do that in the morning, an hour or so. I'll do some work on some curriculum or something. And first I get up, I chant my rounds, and then I do some study because that's what I do, teach and develop courses and things. And then after that I take a stretch, I do yoga, I listen to lecture, and then I do deity worship. But then I take breakfast at 11. So, I mean, you should do the deity worship before you take breakfast. But whatever program works for you, you can do that at home. It's not like an ISKCON temple. ISKCON temple you don't have to imitate, because ISKCON temple has full-time, they have 10 brajaris. So even if one's sick, then someone else will do the same every day. That's the temple, that's what it means. That's why we go there. But at home you don't have to do that. At home whatever's convenient, but you make it convenient and then you keep the same standard. The mind will adapt to that. You keep the same standard. I mean, keep the
So
same
you say
routine.
that, early in the morning, if you don't do in the Brahma, that 4:35, that effect is not there. Like
So
that.
then you do that, that's nice, you do that. My wife also, she does Mangalati at that time. She says she can't face the day without doing it.
No, what we do generally is also first chanting. I mean, without bathing also you can do first chanting. And then
Smaranena kalaha niyama.
So one pujari actually came to our temple in a class. So he said this, even before starting deity service, we should chant at least 1 to 2 rounds minimum, so that the connection with the Lord that awakens the love, and then whatever seva we do, we'll be conscious of whatever we do. I mean, the seva to the Lord.
All right.
the temple when you go for 87,
16 rounds.
that is lenient.
Well, not everybody. I mean, I am fortunate. I have a luxurious lifestyle. I have a luxurious lifestyle because my lifestyle permits me to chant 16 rounds before doing anything else.
Yeah.
That's a luxurious lifestyle. But that's my style. I mean, I'm an old person, so I can't necessarily do it like the young people. When I was young, it was different. We used to do things different. But now I'm an old person. I have permission, to look after my health. We consult the physicians and they give prescription, and we also take medication. That's it. We're dealing with a body which is about to fall apart. So when you're a little bit older, then people, even Mahaprabhu said to Haridas Thakur that you're an aged person, you don't need to practice the sadhana in the same way. So if old people, whatever you're not so old. But anyway, you're a householder, so you're a householder. You have family, you have children.
No children.
No children, but wife.
Wife, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you have to manage, you have to arrange.
Complete this 75.
75? Wow, you look like 40-year-old.
No, more than that. Whenever any book revisions, he is the first one to come.
Yeah, amazing, good health. Yeah,
75 completed.
yeah, that's great.
I mean, it's not that good health. He's got a problem, knee problem, eyes
We're
problem.
having all problems.
Enthusiasm is so much.
No,
I
that's,
cannot stand, I cannot
it's transcendental mukta purush. But you have to, I mean, it's personally, I don't like that you force yourself. I have to do it. It's like the whole thing becomes like a punishment. It's not meant. Krishna consciousness is not meant to be like that. That like I have to do this, I have to do that. There's the rules. I have to do that. It's not. It's not meant to be like that. The rules are meant to just be there, like the rules. They're there that you're not really thinking about them. No, it's just your habituated behavior in accordance with the rules. Not that you're just thinking all the time. This is a rule. I have to do it. It's not Krishna consciousness. It's not like. It's not the style.
We have to make it natural.
Yeah, make it natural. And then your preaching will be more effective because people see you're a happy person.
Nice.
But if you're struggling yourself under pressure and forced, you'll be mean to people.
Correct.
You'll be short-tempered with people. But preaching takes a lot of energy because you have to extend yourself. You have to be compassionate. You have to be lenient. You have to be tolerant.
Yeah. Lot of vibrations will be coming from the people who are listening and
So
other
that's why
negative
that's
vibrations.
why you have to chant nicely. That's why you have to chant nicely. You have to take a big dose of medicine. You have to take a big dose of medicine every day to protect yourself because sure, you get swept away. You can't compromise the personal practice.
Mm.
Okay,
Thank you.
what's the time?
So,
About to be 9.
almost 9.
Nice.
I want to do a couple of things.
Take some dinner now.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
When it's ready, yeah, sure. Take from Prashad. This is from
It's from my place.
Mahaprasad. No, it's from Mumbai.
Very good.
Radha Madhav. He's going to be one day, not Juhu. He's going to be one day. Radha Madhav Mahaprasadam. Got carried away. Let me go and do a couple of things.
Prabhuji, this is my personal thing. Like when I'm chanting, sometimes I feel like skipping my beats. That is because
Oh.
of inattentive.
I can show you something after a while, maybe after Prasadam.